Hello again. So today I'm going to do my makeup while I give my testimony. September is Recovery Month, Recovery Awareness Month, and I am in recovery, as I've mentioned in the past. So this video may have some details. If you have little ears around, you may not want them around listening to this. I'll try to keep it as PG-13 as possible, but I also want to be honest. So there's the little disclosure. I'm not going to talk about which product individually and everything that I'm using as I go along. I will list them in the description box as well with a link to my website if you do not have a Mary Kay consultant. If you do, please refer back to your consultant for these products. If you do not have a Mary Kay consultant, I would love to be yours. And here we go. So I am an only child, but also youngest of 6 or 7. But the only child between my mom and dad. So I had older half brothers and sisters and step brothers and sisters that were kind of more like aunts and uncle ages and more like aunts and uncle figures in my life, as they did not live in the same home with me. They were all mostly grown by the time my parents got together and had me. Addiction was a very big piece of my family that we didn't really dwell on or talk about or discuss. Like, it was never. My parents wanted the best for me, and in doing what they thought was best and not exposing me to the whole truths of life and our family and the addiction that tends to run in it. Later in life, I found out the hard way that addiction is real. It can run in families, and it makes it extremely hard to just walk away from. So with that being said, my early childhood was great. Mom and dad, I had both figures in my life. They, like I mentioned before, they kind of sheltered me a bit, wanting the best for me. Trying to figure out this mirror and video. Okay. They wanted the absolute best for me and kind of sheltered me a bit. So it was very, very good childhood. We weren't rich, but we had everything we needed. Dad worked, mom quit her job to stay home and take care of me until I was in elementary age school, when she started volunteering as a crosswalk lady, and later got a job with the school district as a lunch lady in the kitchen so that she could have spring breaks and weekends and summers off with me. My mom had wanted a daughter of her own basically her whole life, and so I was the answer to her prayers, and she wanted to spend as much time with me, loving me, and raising me as she possibly could. And she did. So why do I tell you all this backstory? All this backstory is some people think that the addicts can't come from good families, or that it's always the parents' fault, or there's just a lot of stigma behind addiction. And so I think that everybody sharing their testimony gives other addicts and people who have family members that are suffering with addiction, it gives them hope, it gives them reference. God says that our testimonies are very important, so that's why I feel that they're important. So anyways, grade school was pretty good. We never went to church as a family when I was younger, but my mom always, we always said nighttime prayers, and she read Bible study books to me, kids' books, Joseph's Coat of Many Colors, Moses, and being sent in the basket down the Nile River and found by the princess, and just all those. So I knew who God was and Jesus was, and I knew the stories, but I wouldn't say that I was actually saved until, I don't know, third grade, fourth grade. At that point, we had moved neighborhoods to a new house, and I started going to church regularly with my mom, and found an Awanas group, and was very active in church and Awanas, and loved it. I felt loved there. I fit in there. Wasn't making a lot of friends at school. Was kind of depressed and not handling the move very well, and so mom got me involved in church, and I thrived there. So that all was good, and life was good, and very, very active in church. Started little Bible studies in my schools. Went to what is it, See You at the Pole, where we all meet at school early and pray around the pole. Very active in my Christian walk. Got baptized, all that. And if you don't know what Awanas is, it's like memorizing Bible verses, and they have games, and they give you candy, and they sing songs, and we went to church camp, and there was a youth group that took us on trips to Seattle, and it was just super fun, and I really felt like I fit in there. Really thrived there. Made lots of good relationships with the Lord and other Christians and other kids my age. So fast forward to 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. That's when I was leading a Bible study in a classroom with some students before school. Was in my junior high. There was a teacher that let us use her classroom before school to do that. And shortly after that, my church went through some drastic changes around the same time that my family was going through some drastic changes. And that's when the beginning of my prodigal days and withdrawing from God and leaning more towards the world and making bad choices kind of started. So I mentioned I had older half brothers and sisters. Well, my dad lost one of my older sisters passed away. One of my half sisters passed away due to addiction. She died of liver failure, so we'll just keep that at that. And it was the first time I ever seen my dad cry. My dad is also a dry alcoholic, which I might not have mentioned. So he never drank a drop when he was with my mom or the whole time I've known him. But he did drink with his first family and his first wife. So, yeah. So anyway, so his daughter passes away. My sister passes away. I see my dad cry for the first time. He starts working a lot, probably to just bury the pain and not deal with it, and probably how he was just, I don't know, he became a workaholic instead of drinking again, I think is what happened. But he was gone, and I was a hugest daddy's girl, and then my church was falling apart. I was graduating and aging out of Awanas, so that took away one of my days of church and one of my groups in places where I felt safe and happy. And then our youth group kind of fell apart too. We had some problems with that, and then our main pastor of our church also decided that he was going to move and take a job in Salem. So the church started changing a lot. My life was changing a lot. Everything was changing, and I didn't know what to do or how to process it all. Nothing like that had ever happened in my life or in my home. And so I started seeking attention elsewhere. I started seeking attention from kids at school, which I didn't fit in with because they were worldly and didn't want the little Christian girl hanging out with them and telling on them and stuff. And so they didn't really want me around because I didn't fit in. So then I started trying to fit in and do what they did and say what they said. And I started dressing not Christianly, you know, just like how all the other kids were dressing, you know, revealing stuff. And I became bulimic and anorexic because that was one of the things that they pointed out that was wrong with me, was I was overweight. And so I tried anorexia, but that didn't work because I was always hungry and cranky and stuff. So then I figured, well, what if I eat, but I just don't let it be in me long enough to make me fat. And so then I became bulimic. And so then I started losing weight, and was able to dress more like the other kids and just fit in. So I was just struggling to fit in, doing whatever it took for people to like me, for me to have a place where I felt accepted and loved. I was seeking what I found with God and church in the world, and little did I know, but that was never going to work. And I continued down this road all through high school, seeking comfort in the arms of boys. Freshman year, I started smoking pot and drinking, and then that quickly expanded into harder drugs like cocaine. Tried meth a couple times, but it was mostly just drinking and smoking weed through high school, mostly. I didn't really get heavy into the hard drugs until after high school. And I didn't start using drugs intravenously until I was 19 or 20. I think I was 20. It was after I married my first husband, who passed away. So, okay, fast forward. I'm barely graduated high school, but I managed to do it. And I am partying all the time. I've had a couple little jobs to help support my habit because my parents are starting to catch on that all I'm doing is running around and drinking and being a delinquent. And so they stopped wanting to give me money and told me that if I was gonna need anything other than gas money for my truck, that I was gonna have to get it myself. So I've had a couple different little side jobs. Haven't really held on to anything very much. Just kind of couch surfing, hopping around, coming to home every once in a while, and sleeping it off here at home with mom and dad, but trying to stay gone as much as possible so that I don't have to listen to their advice or their opinion on what I'm doing with my life. I don't want to hurt them. I don't want them to know the truth, and I just don't want to deal with it. So I just avoid being home as much as possible. I find I have different boyfriends off and on. Lots of different boyfriends. Some of them weren't even actual boyfriends. They were just one-night stands, party guys. And then I meet the boyfriend that will become my first husband. He's actually one of my boyfriend's best friends. And when that relationship didn't pan out, we were hanging out because we had already been hanging out. And we were accused of being together when we weren't. So finally we were just like, well, if everybody thinks we are, why not? And then we started dating, and whatever that entails. And then 3 months later, we ran away and got married at the Hitchin Post in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Excuse my little sip of coffee there. And shortly after that, we moved to Colfax, Washington, which is where he and his family where he was from and where his stepmom lived. So we were going to move to Colfax and get a job and kind of just start over down there and whatever. So we were in active addiction together. We were drinking and smoking pot every day, and occasionally using other things, you know, hard drugs and hallucinogens and whatever, just occasionally, but every day with the alcohol and the marijuana. So we moved to Colfax and we work together. We get a job as his stepmom helps us get an apartment. We get a job mowing lawns. I have a pickup truck, and so we find a guy with a landscaping business down in that area, and he hires us and our truck, and we start doing landscaping. Well, shortly after that, we end up getting pulled over, and he gets popped for probation violations because, of course, I married somebody on probation because I'm making great choices with my life, right? And so then he goes to jail because he's on probation violation to serve out the next, I think it was like 6 to 9 months. So here I am in Colfax, in a town where I basically know no one, trying to do a landscaping job by myself in my truck with no help and no husband, and that didn't last long. I gave that up pretty quick and came running back home to mom and dad and started sleeping on their couch and running around and doing the same old that I was doing before I got married. So yeah, still in active addiction, still running around, being all crazy and using, and trying to go visit my husband as much as I can out at the jail on the outskirts of town. So doing that. Then he wants me to start taking other girlfriends and wives with me when I come out to visit so that his buddies in jail can see their old ladies too. So I do that. And then when they get released, then, you know, they're going to pay me gas money and whatever to pick them up and this and that and the other thing. So we do all that. Long story short, I end up getting introduced to intravenous IV drug use, meth. And so that starts an even faster and bigger downward spiral in my life. So fast forward, he gets out of jail. We end up getting back together because we'd been broken up because I've been running around crazy using IV drugs, doing whatever with whoever for drugs and whatever. Okay? So then when he first gets out, we're not together. We end up getting back together. I've already gone to the psych ward in jail a couple times at this point because of the drugs and the choices that I'm making running around the streets being an idiot. Thinking I'm cool, and thinking that I'm having fun. And so he and I get back together, and then we move back in with my parents and have a bedroom here. They end up finding a coffee can full of used needles in our bedroom and kick us out. They put all of our stuff in a storage shed not far from their house and let us know that that's not allowed in their house and we're not welcome here anymore. So great. So then we have nowhere to go, so we're living in the storage shed with our hamster until a concerned citizen, probably one of the neighbors that we thought were our friends that lived in the house next door to the storage unit, called the storage unit owner and let them know that we were living there, which you're not allowed to do, and he came and kicked us out and locked our stuff and our hamster in the storage shed. So then it boils down to I'm over 21 at this point. I'm not sure the exact days. I'd have to write it down and track it out better, but I'm over 21, and we're kind of like to the point where we're like, okay, wow, well, we've made a mess of our lives, and this really isn't fun or cool anymore. And if we're ever gonna amount to anything and not die addicted in the streets, then we better make some better choices. So we opt to move to Bend, Oregon with the clothes on our back, a backpack, and basically $100. So we moved down there in, I think it was April of 04. And we do good. We still smoke weed and drink beer every day. But we quit the hard drugs. We quit using, back then they were mixing things together, as they do on the streets, and so I was using meth and heroin and didn't know it, and so I went through a detox. I thought I was gonna die in a hotel room in Bend, Oregon, shortly after we got there, but I did not die, and we made it through and stayed clean and sober off the hard stuff. We were down there. I was a manager in a kitchen for a company. I did cleaning. We worked through Labor Ready for a long time, so I did cleaning companies. I worked at through Labor Ready for M. Jacobs Furniture, putting together furniture, making deliveries, moving stuff around on the showroom room floor. I did construction with the guys. Concrete pavers, digging trenches around houses for water lines. I did all kinds of stuff. But I ended up finally getting a job as a dishwasher for a new restaurant opening up in town called McMenamins. And I worked there as a dishwasher for a while, and then got hired on off of Labor Ready onto the company McMenamins. So then I worked my way up from dishwasher to prep cook to line cook to baker's assistant to bakery assistant manager. And yeah, we were doing good. We had a house full of Rent-A-Center stuff. He was still working construction through Labor Ready and working privately for other people. Other companies down there. So he was working construction. I was working the McMenamins job, which helped through the winters because there's not a whole lot of construction work during the winter, believe it or not. And had a 401k, had health insurance. I mean, we were legit grown-ups. Like, we were really actually adulting for the first time in our life. We had street bikes and dirt bikes and cars and trucks and yeah. So things were going good. We were even talking about going back to church. We did not get that chance because he was killed in a work-related accident in September of 2007, and I lost it. Like I mentioned before, we weren't 100% clean and sober. We were still drinking alcohol and smoking weed. So when tough times hit and you're not 100% sober or connected to God, then your fallback is right where you've always known to be comforting, even if it makes a bigger mess out of your life. It's somehow a comfort. If you don't know the Lord, if you don't have a support system, and if you're not 100% clean, you tend to just fall right back into your old ways, which is exactly what I did. So within a year of losing my husband, I had lost my good job, the house, most of the stuff in it, either pawning it for drugs and alcohol, or selling it for gas, or putting it in a storage shed and not having the money to pay the storage shed, or what have you. Anyways, I'd lost it all. So I called my mom, who was always there no matter what. My parents were always there no matter how much crap I put them through. They were always there when I needed them. Mom sent me money Western Union through Walmart, and I came back home 2008, back home to Spokane. So I still continued to use. When I first got to Spokane, I did do a lot better for a little while and was just drinking and smoking weed again, as if that's okay. For somebody with an addictive past and family history, not a good plan, but just drinking, smoking weed, and eventually that turned back into the same old, where I was using hard drugs again on a regular basis. I probably didn't start using IV drugs again until 2010, about 2009, 2010-ish. I think it was 2010. And that's when I met my current husband, who was my active addiction boyfriend who got clean and sober and came back for me. And that's how I ended up getting clean and sober, was because he got clean and sober and came back for me. So, anyways, trying to fix this and I just keep making it worse. So anyways, I'm back in town. I tried college for a little while. I'm not quite back on the heavy drugs yet. I find this, what I think is this great guy. He doesn't like hard drugs, doesn't allow hard drugs around him. So I'm like, yeah, I need that kind of accountability because I know where I go when left to my own devices. And so we are just drinking and hanging out and having a great time, and maybe illegally running certain medical grade drugs back and forth from California to Spokane for a while. Eventually he wants to keep doing it. I think that they're onto us and I quit and he doesn't, and he goes away and I have no accountability to say, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing hard drugs. So I started doing hard drugs again. And then I stay in active addiction with hard drugs and IV drug use until, and there's lots of other things I'm skipping over, like trap houses, other trips to jail, all kinds of stuff that I put my family through, that I put myself through, that I put other innocent people that were around me through, because I thought that my drugs were more important than anything else, as lots of addicts do. Did lots of stupid, hurtful things that part of me wishes that I could take back, but the other part of me knows that it is now part of my testimony, that if I hadn't gone through what I went through, that I wouldn't be who I am or where I am today, or be able to tell my story and give God the glory for saving such a broken, hopeless train wreck of a person and turning it around just in time. So in September of 2014, my on again, off again, loser toxic boyfriend, who is now my wonderful husband, came out to the casino to find me with some accountability buddies, and invite me to, he wanted to see our dog, our son. He wanted me to bring Clover Dog out to see him and his sober house and his new friends in this new church. And so I did. And started attending the church and getting God back in my heart and my life, and feeling that feeling that I had been missing since childhood, when my church disbanded, when my family was going through particularly difficult times. Kind of skipped over a bit of things, but anyways, so I found God again. I found a church again. I found sobriety because of this church, and because of my now husband coming back for me, caring enough about me to give me the opportunity to make the choice to choose sobriety and to choose God. And it is a choice. If you are not an addict and you're watching this and you have one in your family and you want nothing more than for them to get clean and sober, I'm with you. I still have family members in addiction. And there's just really, until that person reaches a state of brokenness where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired and they want to get clean and sober, there's really nothing you can do other than pray. And be there. Don't be an enabler if possible. But be there for them. Let them know that you love them, that you care for them, and that when they're ready to get help, that you will do whatever it takes to help them. If that's the truth and that's what you're willing to do, then that's what you need to let them know. So anyways, I didn't go through a treatment program. I'd been admitted to many treatment programs throughout my years of addiction, but I was never court ordered to be there, and so I never stayed. I never completed a program, and they didn't work for me because I wasn't willing to let them work for me. Not that there was anything wrong with those programs. They probably would have been great if I would have actually wanted to change. I just didn't. At those different points in my life when I ended up there, I wasn't ready or willing to change, didn't think I could change. For me, it was all about God. It was all about His love. It was all about knowing He was there, that it was all about God. It was the God factor. God factor was what I was missing and what I'd been chasing the entire time that I was in addiction. And nothing could fill that God-sized hole in my heart other than God. And so I have been clean and sober since September 19th of 2014. I'm coming up on 8 years later this month. And I got to take care of my dad in his final days. I got to help raise my niece. I'm still taking care of my elderly mom with dementia, which if you viewed last week's video, you got to meet her then. And God knew ahead of time. God always knows. God's so amazing. He knew ahead of time that my family was going to need me. There was plenty of times that I should have died, could have died. A couple times where I actually did die, overdosed, and anyways, God had bigger plans for me, and He said I wasn't ready. My wings weren't ready yet. He still needed me here, and I didn't know why, and I was angry. Now in hindsight, always in hindsight, you can see God's marvelous plan, and how He was with me even in addiction. He was with me then, He is with me now, and He had a greater plan and a purpose for my life, to give me a testimony that hopefully will give someone else hope, that someone else maybe will make the decision to reach out and get help, to come to God for help, to get treatment in a Christ-centered program, or any program for that matter. You can put Christ in the center of any treatment program. Some of them go off of a higher power instead of actual Jesus and God. But even those refer to a higher power, and you get to choose your own. So I choose Jesus, Father God, and Holy Spirit. They are the ones that get me through my day every day, one day at a time, for the rest of my life. And I get to lead. I've gotten to lead. I'm not currently leading women's Christ-centered 12-step groups with the Celebrate Recovery. I've got to go to treatment centers and reach out and give my testimony and message there. And I just pray that God can use me and my story and my willingness to be an open book and tell my story, to touch somebody's heart, to change their mind, to redirect their life to a better path, to a better life. Right now, I'm a Mary Kay beauty consultant, which is the complete 180 from what I was or ever thought I would be. But it is God first, family second, and career third. And so that's how I ended up here. get to share the love of God and my testimony sometimes at facials with other people, and I love it when that happens. He's started building a team of women under me, a lot of which are in recovery or have family members that are in recovery or struggling with addiction. And so you just never know what God's going to do in your life when you choose to allow Him to move in your life and in your heart. He amazes me every day. And not every day is easy. There's still lots of hard things. Losing my dad, very hard. Dealing with my mom, with her dementia, very hard. There's still things that I wish I handled better. There's still areas that I need growth in. And I recognize that, and I continue to strive to grow and be a better version of myself each and every day than I was the day before. I seek God wholeheartedly through prayer and devotionals and Bible studies and reading His Word, worship music, online church. I don't know what else more I can say. If you have any questions about my story or my testimony, if you have any questions about the Mary Kay products or the Mary Kay business opportunity, feel free to drop your comments. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you're watching these so that I know that you're out there. I list my website and my email on every post, so if there's something that you don't want to drop in the comments for the whole world to see, you can email me. It does not have to be about Mary Kay for you to email me. If it's an addiction related thing, a faith question, a prayer request, if it's something personal and you don't want the whole world to see it, so you're not dropping a comment, just drop a comment. I emailed you, and email me so that I can look for the email. Cause yeah, I would love to help in any way that I can with any questions that you may have. Again, I am not a ordained preacher or minister or theologian, but I can guide you and help you the best that I can. I can definitely put you in my prayers, and hopefully try to connect you with any other resources or people that could be of help to you in either addiction and recovery or faith and religion, whatever it is. So totally open to being as helpful as I possibly can for any of those reasons or purposes. And like I said, if you don't want to list your exact stuff in the comments for the whole world to see, please reach out to me via my email. And I just messed up right there, so we're gonna let that dry and then it'll flake right back off. I'm gonna stop talking here in a second. It's long enough to do my lips. I didn't set out a lip color. There's the one thing I didn't set out. Oh, here's some. Okay, well that mascara mess up should be dry by now. I'm just gonna put on corner lashes today. I got these from, what are they? Red Aspen, I think is what it says, but they're just like these little tiny ones that you just like put right here in the corner. They're super fun. Give you just that little extra. So I was gonna put those on today and then do a lip color. So, personal stuff that I'm doing right now, I'm super excited about. I'm doing a Bible study on the Experiencing God book with a bunch of Christian sisters. A lot of them are also Mary Kay sales directors and consultants and stuff too. Not all of them, but a lot of them in that group I think are the majority probably. But we do it on our own every day for 5 days and meet every Friday via Zoom and do that amazing study together. I did a few other studies with them too via Zoom. I kind of had stepped back after my dad's passing when I was we were going through a lot. I was grieving, I was cleaning, I was moving, we were remodeling, and I was just over busy and overwhelmed with just the day-to-day life at that point. So I had stepped back for a little while, and I'm glad to be back. I love those Bible studies and being close with the ladies and getting closer to God as well through Bible studies, which is the best part. So, trying to pick which lip color I want. I usually don't like just one lip color. I like to mix colors on my lips. I'm never happy with just like one shade. Like, I'll be happy if I mix 2 shades together, but very rarely do I find like a lip color where I'm actually satisfied with just the color itself. So, yeah, if you guys ever wonder what you can pray for me, if you're not going to give me your prayer requests, you can always pray for my family and my mom, just our provision and protection. Other than that, I think we're pretty good. You can pray that God blesses my business and that I'm able to bless other ladies in return by helping them grow personally, by growing their business and their relationship with God. So I got the little, I don't know if you can see them, but they're there. They're there. I like them. I can see them. Okay. Then we're going to do a lip color, but I really think I'm going to mix these two. And these will be like the one thing that I use today other than the lashes that are not, it's not a current color. These are discontinued. I tried to do the whole thing today without using discontinued stuff, but I forgot to get my lip stuff over here, so we're going with what I have in my reach. So this one, let's see, I need my handy dandy magnifying glass and my glasses to read the. So this one is Firecracker? Really? That's bright red. I don't think I want bright red. Mystic Plum. Maybe I need to see which other ones I have. So I wanted to do the Mystic Plum and like here, what's this? Natural Beauty. Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna do the Mystic Plum and the Natural Beauty. And I will check our current colors and try to get you closest current match to these two lip colors. Since how these two are discontinued. See, I really like it when you mix them. I like to mix colors. I just feel like I don't have a tissue within reach for blotting. I'm gonna get better at being prepared for these videos and having everything ready and not rustling around in the background eventually. There. So there is the lip color. This is the final look. I don't know how the lighting makes it look. Oh, here, let me get my headband out. I'm trying to keep my hair out of my face in my foundation earlier, so there we go. So there's Beauty from the inside out. So that is my testimony, or at least a version of it. Every time I tell it, it's different because I don't script it. I just pray beforehand that the Lord highlights the areas that whoever's going to be hearing it needs to hear the most. And it's going to make the biggest impact on their hearts and their minds for Him. So hopefully that touched someone out there in some kind of way, that it gives you hope. It gives you a hunger to seek after God, to seek after sobriety, or to continue praying and helping and believing that there's hope for a family member that may be suffering with addiction at this point. So my thoughts and prayers are with all the addicts that are still out there suffering, the children that do not have a choice, and the families that are hurting because they love the addict that is still suffering. So with that being said, it is recovery month. It is September, which is also my sober birthday month, and I just wanted to mention how important it is to keep praying for those that are still suffering in addiction. And if you are suffering from addiction, please reach out to a family member or a friend, or email me, or drop a comment. I would love to pray with you, pray for you, and help you in any way that I can, if you're ready to seek help and change your life. Because if God can do it in my life, He can definitely do it in yours. I am nobody special, but God thinks we're all special, so I guess I am somebody special, but I'm no more special than you are. We are all equally special in His eyes, and He loves each and every one of us. If He'd do it for me, He'll do it for you. And please reach out. There is a better life, a life worth living, and I no longer hate my life. I used to scream that I hated my life at the top of my lungs for God and everybody to hear. And on hard days, sometimes I do still mutter it, but I don't mean it. I don't mean it the way that I did before. Life is still hard. It'll always be hard. But it is also a growing experience. And every day is a blessing when you're sober, when you have your wits about you. And even during the hard times, God is still there. And the people that he will place in your life as your support system, they make it all worth it. They make each and every struggle and victory worth it. Have a good day. God bless you. Until next time.